Hello everyone, and welcome back to All Things Space. Now let's get into the video. Life is brimming on Earth, from humans, animals, insects, to microorganisms that cannot even be seen with the naked eye. The Earth supports life in its every corner, and in any climate. The planet's ability to sustain life cannot in any way be questioned, but some scientists have reason to believe that there are planets out there even more suited to sustain life than Earth. Here are habitable planets that are better suited to life than Earth. But before we begin, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. What are exoplanets? Exoplanets are planets that exist outside of our solar system. These are the planets that could potentially support life, like Earth, or even better than Earth. There were no exoplanets discovered before the 1990s, but in the last 2 decades, thousands of them have been discovered. Planets in the habitable zone, which is the zone in a star's orbit that has temperatures sufficient enough for a water-type liquid to exist, are better suited to sustain life, and hence can be considered exoplanets. These planets have a huge variation in terms of size and orbits. Some of them are very huge and very close to their parent star. Others may be completely. Some of them are very rocky worlds, and some consisting of super elevated temperatures. The scientists, however, are trying to search for a planet that's closer to the size of the Earth and is in a proximity to their parent star as the Earth is to its sun. But regardless of this factor being present, all these exoplanets can be considered well suited to potentially sustain life. The Kepler Space Telescope. Scientists since decades have been curious to find out if there are other planets that could possibly have life. The Kepler Space Telescope was launched by NASA in 2009 to satisfy the same curiosity. The telescope was able to identify 3 types of exoplanets in substantial numbers: huge gaseous planets, extra hot planets with short period orbits, and huge icy giants. The only thing that is troubling the scientists now is to find a planet that's twice or 1/2 of the size as planet Earth that are in the habitable zones of their stars. The scientists are also on the lookout to find liquid water on one of these planets, as water is integral to sustaining life on Earth. Are their stars better than our Sun in supporting life? The closest star to the Earth is the Sun. The Sun is integral for life to exist on Earth, for without this star, life simply wouldn't exist here. The stars like the Sun are known as dwarf stars. These stars have low or average luminosity and are considerably lesser in mass than other stars in the galaxy. There are 2 types of stars that the planet orbits: yellow dwarf stars and orange dwarf stars, also known as K-type stars. The scientists previously focused on finding life in the planetary systems with yellow dwarf stars, but now they're also shifting focus to orange dwarf stars. The orange dwarf stars are dimmer, less massive, and cooler than our Sun. They also happen to be approximately 50% more common than the yellow stars. They also have a longer lifespan of 20 billion to 70 billion years, which are a lot longer than the lifespan of the Sun, which is only about 10 billion. Our Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, so it has been speculated by researchers that the ideal time for life to be on a planet would be between 5 and 8 billion years. The time that it took for complex life to appear on Earth was somewhere around 3.5 billion years, so it wouldn't be unwise to think that these orange dwarf stars could provide more time for the biodiversity to better develop on the planets to have a better form of life. What should be the anatomy of a habitable planet? The planet Earth has the adequate resources and habitats for life to bloom on it. But what exactly are the factors in a planet that could ensure the same or even better conditions for hosting life? A planet that is rocky and has a larger surface area than Earth could be able to hold more life in it, and could also potentially have more stable and thicker atmosphere. A planet that is large, even 1.5 times greater than Earth, would be able to retain the heat inside its core for a longer period of time. This would in turn help in keeping the core molten and keep active the protective magnetic field for a great span of time. This means that a larger planet would stay alive for a lot longer. If a planet is hotter than Earth, that could also help it develop life more efficiently. The planets that are 8 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the Earth can be super habitable. This is because these planets could have much larger tropical zones, which are the zones that contain the most biodiversity on planet Earth. On the other hand, a warmer planet would require more moisture, and there would be expanded deserts because of the warmth. Presence of several smaller continents, then fewer large continents, is better for biodiversity to flourish on a planet. because larger continents develop desert-like areas in the middle because their centers are far from the ocean, and the dry deserts contain a lot less biodiversity. Lastly, having shallow bodies of water would better provide conditions for having good biodiversity, as it so happens on Earth that deeper oceans have less known biodiversity. 24 potentially super habitable worlds. Over the 2 decades, scientists have discovered many planets that could be considered habitable or even super habitable. Super habitable planets can be described as worlds that scientists consider to be even more suitable to sustain life than the Earth. Out of the hundreds of planets found, the scientists at NASA have narrowed it down to 24 planets that could potentially be super habitable. But the question that begs to be answered here is, how did scientists decide which planets to choose and what made them come to this conclusion? They looked at a number of factors to choose which planet to include in the list. To start off, they looked at the planets in the planet-star system's habitable zone that were rocky and terrestrial type. This meant that these could possibly contain liquid water. These were selected from the Kepler Objects of Interest exoplanet archive of transiting exoplanets. They also looked at the star type. Apart from the G stars, which are similar in characteristics to our Sun, they also looked at K stars, which are also known as the cooler, less massive orange stars that were previously talked about in this video. Due to their longer lifespans, the planet and the orbits of these stars are considered more habitable. The scientists also considered the surface area of the planets. The planets with larger surface area were thought to have better biodiversity and a longer lifespan. Temperatures were also taken into consideration. Temperatures somewhat higher than the Earth were thought to be good for biodiversity. Looking at all of these factors in a planet, the NASA scientists were able to choose 24 most habitable planets out of literal thousands. More future explorations. While previous space exploration missions have revealed quite fruitful information, the curious scientists at NASA are eager to find out more. New plans for more space explorations are being made to probe further into the universe, such as NASA's newly launched James Webb Space Telescope. This telescope was launched by NASA on the 25th of December 2021. This $10 billion James Webb Space Telescope is the most powerful and the largest telescope NASA has launched so far. With the help of this telescope, the scientists hope to probe the cosmos and discover the hidden truths of the universe. It hopes to learn the history of the universe, from the Big Bang to the formation of alien planets and everything beyond that. The telescope so far has been able to travel 1.5 million km in 30 days, and has reached its permanent home, a Lagrange point also called the L2, which is gravitationally stable location in space. Previously in history, the Hubble Space Telescope was launched in the 1990s. It is still operational after 31 years and has provided the scientists with loads of important information about our universe. With that, we come to the end of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss out on future videos. If you enjoyed the content, then do leave a like. So until next time, take care and goodbye.